Hello guys, so welcome to my another video. So now I want to review one novel that the title is Tea Money by Jake Needham. So this story is about a man named Jack William Syarif, but his dad called him Jack. So one day he was going to meet his client near to the Chao Phraya River, but he was 10 minutes late, and the person he want to meet has already left. He was still curious about this woman because she said Berry Girl wanted to meet him. So Berry Girl is his friend that had worked together at one of Stasan Hardy's law firms, where the firm consists of Vice President of America and 3 different administrations. So what he knew about Berry Girl was that he had been involved a case of a large bank losses rumored to be driven by companies, the owner of which was the ruthless man Jimmy Kicks, which was revealed after Berry Girl was found dead at the bottom of a guest house swimming pool in West Dallas with a jacket cover around his neck. So out of unfinished curiosity, the next day he decided to visit that place again in Chao Phraya with hope of getting a clue about someone who used the name Berry to meet him. He waited for a long time, and just as he was about to leave, a canoe dropped of a boy and girl. So he tried to ask if they were the one who called him there, but the girl said she was the wrong person. At the long wait, there was a lie that always happened in Bangkok as usual, Jack thought. So, when Jack was about to leave the parking lot, he got a call, and it was the same voices as the person who called him a while ago by the name of Berry. He apologized for not being able to come because he just wanted to make sure that this is really Jack, and the man says information to make sure they are not the wrong person. And before the phone is hang up, Berry asked to meet with Jack tomorrow at midnight at the Lide store in Sukhumvit in Thailand. So on his way at home, he met someone he knew in London, Stanley, and Stanley was retired, became the director of session at Chulalongkorn University. He offered Jack to teach in session or become a businessman like him. And finally, Jack agreed to the profession as a businessman as a side change from his teaching profession. But suddenly, when he arrived at his house, he found a paper. It had been typed in all capitals using what looked like a standard word professor typeface. It read, "Berry Girl is one hell of a swimmer." So he was actually thinking about the incident that happened to him some time ago, but in the middle of the lesson, Jack thought about Berry Girl's note, and that day there were also a faculty reception by Dollar Dunn. After the event, Dollar and John approached Jack and talked about Howard Loginski and asked Jack if he heard about him lately. But Jack himself didn't know anything about that before, so Dollar said that Howard was making trouble again and asked Jack to report to him if he heard about Howard. So Jack asked Arlene to find him data about Berry Girl, especially at the time of his death, before they met, and Arlene agreed to do that. So Arlene searched about Berry Girl, but no found valid data. So the data is invalid. And this has never happened before. So Arlene and Nata were convinced that this was a premeditated crime committed by someone with a lot of power. So finally that night, Jack actually met the man accompanied secretly by Mango Manny, arriving at the Lide Battle and somehow he recognized a bald man with a Chinese woman who he believed was Barry Gale and his girlfriend. Finally, Barry approached Jack and told him that he had been set up under the disguise of his name Arthur Daly, and he was like asking him to help. And Jack asked what was really going on, so Barry took him out to quiet street to tell Jack something. He told Jack that he joined the Russian mafia and made a deal with Jimmy Cakes, where Jimmy entrusts her to launder his money and interrogated Wilkin with Jimmy that he can live really as he wants. Jack doesn't know how to react the criminal case that Jack did together with Jimmy and the mafia, because Barry controlled one of the small banks, namely ABC, where he put Jimmy's money and laundering funds. But somehow the amount decreased as if it was taken by the crime above the crime. So he asked Jack to help him to track down the digital record of the money that disappeared, because he wanted to prove it to Jimmy that it was not him who took the money. And after the show, he wanted Jack to steal his money again. Jack still doubted whether he could influence international banking as Barry Gale, he said. Back at home, he had a call from Anita informing him of her return to Thailand, and only then did he realize the people were after him. So in the next day, Jack met with Jello, and Jello is a Thai police. And the next day, he wanted to meet with Dollars and was surprised to see a man in his room known as a Franken. He is investigation bureau. Afterward, Dollar came to see Jack and told him that Howard had hanged himself off the Chao Phraya River Bridge. So Howard was be murdered by someone. And John whereabouts are unknown. Then Jello came and Jack was upset because Jello targeted Dollar as a suspect in Howard's murder, but Jack believed with Dollars. Then Jack tried to meet Burley, his friend, told him the news about Howard's death, and also expressed his suspicion of the FBI agent that he met yesterday. So Burley tries to ask his friend who is an FBI agent, and it turns out that the FBI agent named Frank is not there. So Frank is not true. So Jack immediately thought of the Dollar and he rushed to meet him at his house, and how surprised he was that the Dollar houses was very messy, like it had been robbed. And when he tried to enter that house, he accidentally found a business card named Arthur Daly that we know as Barry Gale, another name belonging to Barry Gale. So here Jack began to think there was a connection between the Dollar, Howard, Jimmy Kick, and also Barry Gale. And then Jack went to Stanley and told him about everything, and also found out about what happened. And Stanley made the conclusion that Howard was killed because of the meeting of Barry and Jack, and maybe that's also the reason why Dollar ran away, because he was afraid of becoming the next murder target. And Jack tries to think about what he forgot when he first started this all, about how Barry has many mysterious things to fake identities in Bangkok. So he tries to meet Manny Mango, who is known as influential person that he met in the first story. So he asked Manny Mango about Barry, but he didn't give a definite answer, so Jack decided to go back. But suddenly he saw a car parked and saw that there were a Dollar inside the car. So when Jack announced that Dollar was murdered by someone, so he decided to meet Barry and want to ask anything that happened lately. But on his way to meet Barry Gale, he was kidnapped and it turns out that the kidnapper is Barry Gale himself. So whose all the plain crimes are the work of Barry Gale? So where's the story about him losing money in his bank and asking Jack for help to track him down of his own doing? He wants to steal the money and make Jack a suspect by Jimmy Kicks, who is the owner of the company, the person that had the bank. So then Jack finally understood everything. All the confusion that has plagued him lately has finally been answered. Instead of being afraid, Jack smiled, and there was curious. There was confused. Why Jack was not afraid at all. And Jack explained that the money that Barry stole was not Jimmy Kick's money, but it belonged to the CIA agent who would indeed be turned to the China. So this money was not Jimmy Kick's money, but it turns out that the CIA's, okay. So Barry was scared because it turns out that he chose the wrong opponent. So shortly after Frank, Jello, and John to catch Barry, and then three of them. So this is the plot twist, guys. And the three of them revealed that they were not CIA agent and Jimmy Kicks never existed. So the three of so he's just named and made so Jimmy Kick just the name and made up to cover up other crimes. And now it Jack's turn to be surprised. Jack's very surprised that all this time, because all this time Jake has been working with the real criminals, actually Frank, Jello, and John, who have killed his two friends, Dollar and Howard. At the end, before Jack is knocked out, Jack asks who you really are, and the three of them answer, we are anybody we want to be, Jack. Anybody at all. So I think this novel is really recommended for you all who want to to read a crime novel, because this novel is a thriller genre and it had a big plot twist, I guess. So you guys have to read this novel, okay? Thank you very much for listening my retell story. Thank you.